Okay. Good evening, everybody. Oh, why is this never on the tab? Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find it. See, it's not as easy as it is on Facebook. All right. Okay, I gotta get my cat out of here because I don't know. She has to really be everywhere I am, I think. All right, where did it go now? Ah, okay. Maybe this will work now. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. So I wanted to just bring this up about what happened in Australia during a Hanukkah celebration. Now, some people are saying that this is a false flag. And yes, innocent people have lost their lives. And this man is one of them. And there was something about the IDF, and I don't know. I didn't hear anything of it. But this guy was raising money for the IDF. And he is in Israel doing this report, talking about raising money for the IDF. He speaks with an IDF soldier, and they are in a place where probably they shouldn't be, but hey, this is the things that they do. Okay. So let me play this. And then I started the video here, and it's going to go into how somebody, I don't know how they spot these things, but somebody with the blood on their face, they know who he is. It's fake blood, and that this was all staged, what happened in Australia, except for the people that lost their lives. Let me play this.
Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I am here at the Marpeset Shel Hamedina, which means the porch of the country. It's an unbelievable place. It's a very, very high peak, and from here you can see half the country.
And you know why you have to have armed guards? You know why they have to have armed guards?
Gee, I don't know why, Dan.
Well, because they're somewhere they ought not be.
Yeah,
that's why. And ironically, the people that they seem to think they need to have armed guards from aren't even armed. See, that's the sick, twisted mindset of these Zios. They're so loaded with arms to go into a place of completely unarmed people. Are you that big? Like, if you're that big of a pussy that you fully armed when the people you're walking around aren't, you get help.
Or look in the mirror. But if I were Eli, if he were still here, I wouldn't like looking myself in the mirror very much.
If this was in the hands of the Arabs, this is right in the heart of the West Bank. This is why this needs to be in the hands of the Jewish people. Because
now, just remember, as you've pointed out time and again for many, many years, the reason they are called Arabs is to dehumanize them.
Absolutely. Well, they're never going to acknowledge that there are people that are Palestinian. Okay, they will never, ever grant Palestinians the dignity of personhood. So if they said Palestinian, that would acknowledge that such people exist. They don't acknowledge that such people exist. By saying Arabs, it just means all the people in the surrounding areas. It's not people that are specifically indigenous to there, because that means that you obviously are committing an ethnic cleansing of people that were there. So if you don't acknowledge there were Palestinians, then you don't have to have that.
Because of its security, and obviously the obvious, because it belongs to us, because it's our land. I'm standing over here with a beautiful, beautiful Chayal, a soldier, a man who has left his family to be able to protect.
I tell you, whenever he gets off at night, this is who he's fantasizing about.
This village at this very, very heightened moment. What's your name?
My name is Dolev.
Dolev. And Dolev, on behalf of the entire village over here, has received a very, very sizable donation from our community in Sydney, and he has a couple of words to say.
Okay, so first of all, hi from me. So Hi from Israel to the beautiful community of Sydney. As representative of the reserve group, that we stationed here, I want to thank you for your donation. We still need some other equipment like shoes, new vests.
Can I show you your shoes?
Yeah, I'm still not wearing proper army shoes.
They need more money. They need more money. After we just gave them, the United States, that is, we just gave them another $600 to $800 million for military operations. But they are now asking for more money. They have multi-millionaire, billionaire donors that give money to the IDF, but they need more money. That's all these people want. That's it. Money, money, and money. That's it. This guy who's doing the interview passed away on, I believe, the Bondi Beach or Bondi Beach. I'm not sure how you say it, but he was one of the people that was shot. So he is no longer with us, but he was at the West Bank where, according to President Trump's ceasefire agreement, they were not supposed to go in there. Israel was not supposed to go into the West Bank because just to keep peace with the Arabs. But they didn't do that. And they're continuing to bomb now Syria. And 3 Americans have lost their lives in Syria because we just can't mind our own business.
Understand? He's in the army and he's wearing regular sneakers. Shouldn't work like that.
So
we're being called.
Now, it's not right.
There you go.
It's not right.
Okay, we're leaving.
It's not right to hold everybody up. I'm sorry. You
yeah, we're coming. They're coming.
They were walking.
I don't know what that was all about, but they had to leave because they weren't supposed to be there. Like Jen said, the woman there of this channel, because they're not supposed to be there. Goodness gracious. Okay, so then it kind of ends shortly after that. And now I want to take you to the part where they show this man right here. Oops.
Yeah, this guy. He survived October 7th. And by the way, I have come to find out, has been one of the main people perpetrating the bullshit rumors about October 7th continuously.
Oh,
and he just happens to be there with his phone filming his bloody self.
Mm-hmm. Oh, help me.
So this is the, right here, this and this too. This is where they're saying this is fake blood. And then it shows somebody applying, I don't know what it was, on his face to make it look like that he was bloodied and all that. And I do remember seeing a video of this right here, which I thought was odd, where he's bandaged in the head. Yeah, I mean, right here, like, where did he get shot? Why isn't he down? If he really did get shot, I don't think he would be able to climb up someplace. That's what it looks like he's doing. And I mean, it's very, very strange.
Help me, but here it comes.
Are we sure that's a real picture and that someone didn't like AI that? Because that's like.
Okay, so this is the photo that they're talking about that somebody took before this happened. So there is literally a photo of him behind the scenes getting more makeup applied to him. It was all fake. And Jen asked the question, is this AI? And it's not, because they did some kind of analysis on it. And they said that it is not. And they also asked AI about the so-called blood, if it was real. And AI said, no, it's not real. Then it goes into why this is fake. This blood is fake.
Fake blood right there.
Yeah, well, it looks fake. I mean, let's go to the beginning. Like, if you look, you'll see that.
But how did someone get a picture? Like, how were they so careless to have
because there's always, you know what it's like, you know how you said from the beginning of the stream that the call is always coming from inside the house? Yeah. Yeah. There are people that tried to take out Hitler when they saw that the Third Reich was collapsing. It's the same thing here. There are people within the Mossad, there are people within the Israeli government who are looking around and saying, they're going to kill us all. Like, eventually, we're all going to get what's coming to us if we don't do something to end this. One of the ways we can is one of us takes on the responsibility of exposing the whole grift, exposing it all. Like, Arsen Ostrovsky should be in The Hague right now.
Where's he from?
Probably Poland.
No, but I'm just curious if is he an Australian?
And I'm going to confirm this real quick.
Ancestral heritage. Nobody from Israel that are these people are from there anyway.
Well, it doesn't actually say, that's the thing. I mean, right now, this is really not. All I know is that if you go to his Instagram, he just talks about his love for food, coffee, and Israel.
He's a dual citizen. Right. Well, that's what I figured. He's a dual citizen. I'm trying to figure out what's the other country he's a dual citizen with. Is it Australia?
I mean, that.
All right. So we saw that.
So here is, they're checking the image if it's AI generated, and it's not. No AI was used when producing this image. I mean, this is just like wild. This image is likely human generated.
Me to ever see Jews as victims at all. It's because they've just cried wolf so many times. I can't believe this.
It out.
This is just like wild. It really is. This is like wild. And then they talk about the blood. So then they ask AI about this so-called blood. He's Ukrainian, right? Wow. How's that? He's Ukrainian. Oh my God. How nuts. How nuts is this? Here it is. Yes, this image appears staged or fake. The blood has unnaturally bright, glossy red hue that's more consistent with corn syrup-based fake blood or paint used in movies and special effects makeup than real blood, which tends to darken and coagulate quickly upon exposure. I mean, it's just like incredible. It's just these, political Zionists is what I call them. They will go to any lengths to push this pro-Israeli message to make sure that money keeps funneling to Israel so that they can commit what they are doing to the Palestinians and to other countries as well. Now, I saw this very good analysis of Nick Fuentes. I was listening to him because it's in regards to Candace Owens. Okay, so Candace Owens has been saying ever since Charlie Kirk was not with us anymore, ever since September 10, was it? October, November, so about 3 months now. Yep, 3 months and change. She has been talking about how Erica Kirk was involved in what happened to him. Turning Point USA was involved, and the Egyptian planes, and on and on. She was kind of conducting her own investigation of what happened to her friend, and she was accusing, like I said, his wife or widow, and the people that worked with him. So Erica Kirk, a little while ago, came out on national television and said, that this has got to stop. What Candace Owens is saying, that is specifically, I believe, Candace Owens. And I do not follow Candace Owens because I think she's just putting on a show. I she's just this is my perspective. I think she is just doing what um, to get views. She's just doing this gossipy, conspiratorial theories that really have no backing. And it is to get views because, people like gossip. I call it gossip. I don't see anything with substance to what she has to say. There's no evidence. I mean, anybody can come on, and do a YouTube channel and say all these things. But the problem is that she went to go, well, no, actually, I believe Erica Kirk went to go see Candace and spent 4.5 hours talking with Candace Owens. 4.5 hours privately. So people were waiting, her fans, her followers were waiting to see what she had to say about that meeting. And really, she had nothing to say. Again, I didn't see it. I saw Nick Fuentes's analysis on what he thinks happened. And it makes sense. And people were, when this was going on, and Nick Fuentes and others were saying, this woman, Candace, doesn't know what she's talking about, making fun of her and all that. And then, of course, the others are saying, oh, you're just a racist and all that. You're jealous because she's got more followers and viewers or whatever. And she's making money and, all that stuff. And it's like, for me, it's like if she's making accusations with no substance to back it up. Okay. So I think she's like walking on a thin line. Okay. That's what I thought. Because like I said, I don't watch her. I think she's acting. She's kind of like fake. So, she's putting on a show. It's like entertainment. It's entertainment, really. There's no basis to what she is saying. She just knows how to talk, I guess. I mean, I don't know. So she went to go meet, or Erica went to go meet her. Now, Nick Fuentes, I guess, watched this analysis, and I did not see it. And everybody, not just Nick Fuentes, but her followers, who reached to 300,000 views on her live stream, she had nothing to say. Candace Owens had hardly anything to say. It was an hour. The live stream was an hour, and she dedicated a half an hour to talking about that meeting. And everybody is saying, even in the comments, they're like, what is up with Candace Owens? So now I believe she's going to go down, because that's what Nick Fuentes said. And this is what happens. Okay. When people like Candace Owens, who has all these this huge following. All right. I mean, she's like the #1 podcaster, I believe. And she gets 300,000 people to watch her live on this. And she's changed. She's not the same that she was before this meeting with Erica Kirk. And Nick Fuentes believes what happened in this private meeting for 4.5 hours was that probably Erica Kirk threatened Candace Owens with a lawsuit, defamation. And they probably had proof of what Candace Owens said about whatever it was. And like I said before, Candace Owens had no way to back up her statements about what was going on in Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk and the planes, Egyptian planes, and all that. So, look, again, are we ever going to know the truth? Probably not. Probably not. The FBI was very quick, in my opinion, to pinpoint this kid that supposedly did what he did to Charlie Kirk. And the question that came into my head when they showed the picture was, how do they know it's him? When they showed the video of this person jumping from the roof, you can't see who it is. There's no close up. There's nothing. There's nothing. So how did they know? How did the FBI know that he was the shooter? It really didn't make any sense, because right now, what happened at Brown University in Rhode Island, they can't figure out who this masked man is. So how were they able to figure out what happened, or who it was that did what they did to Charlie Kirk, but they can't figure this out? It doesn't make sense. I mean, it just doesn't. Okay. And the problem with Candace Owens is that she was making these accusations against these people that she had no basis for. And Nick Fuentes, like I said, had a very good analysis of it. And I'm going to see if I can find it. Actually, I need to go to my phone and find it, because I took a screenshot of this video that somebody did and to record what Nick Fuentes said about Candace Owens and what she had to say about the secret meeting that she had with Erica Kirk, and all the things let's see, I gotta go to my photos here and find where this is. Okay, here it is. All right. So let me find, let me find this person and this video. And he had, where did it go? No, that's not what I wanted. No. I need to go to YouTube and get his video on Nick Fuentes and his take on Candace Owens. Let's see if I can get it. No, that's not it. Let me see. Maybe I have to change the spelling because it's kind of a weird spelling. Where did it go? Interesting. But it's not on here. Let me try. Let's try Nick. This was a day ago. Here it is. This is it right here. Okay, so this is somebody else who has Nick Fuentes' reaction to Candace Owens' meeting with Erica Kirk and how Candace Owens acted afterwards. She's very different, he's saying that she is now afraid to say what she's been saying previously about TPUSA and Erica Kirk. And Nick Fuentes believes that Erica Kirk probably threatened her with a lawsuit if she didn't stop. So let me see if I can. To me, this is a very good analysis. I I know, like, he can be controversial, but I understand where he's coming from, okay? Because they call him racist and they call him this. And you know what? In the end, he might be right about Candace Owens.
Now she made time and she had a 4.5-hour meeting with Erica Kirk. So she didn't have time to fly to Phoenix, Arizona, but she did have time for a 4.5-hour meeting, which you have to imagine involved time on either side of that, traveling to and from. She couldn't fly there to do it in person, but she could do a 4.5-hour meeting where there's no cameras. I find that really interesting. And they say that it's a meeting with a guy named Strife at Turning Point, Erica Kirk, Turning Point's lawyers, and Candace Owens. That's the meeting. She's there for 4.5 hours. She doesn't say anything all day. Today, she gives her recap of the meeting on her show. She starts out by playing a Jewish song and dancing to it, and she says, Shabbat Shalom, which I find to be very strange. She talks about it on her show for about 30 minutes and then spends another 30 minutes talking about a bunch of other crap. Really? This was the moment we were all waiting for. You backed down from the challenge. You didn't even live stream it. You caved and did this in-person meeting. You don't say anything all day. Everybody's waiting for it. Finally, you do your show recapping the 4.5-hour meeting. She doesn't even dedicate her entire 1-hour show to the meeting. Doesn't dedicate even the entirety of her 1-hour show the next day. She spends 30 minutes talking about it. I think.
So you said that she spends 30 minutes talking about what happened with Erica Kirk, which he says she really didn't say much, and another 30 minutes of ads. Okay, whatever. Let me see what else. It's a good analysis. I think it is. He's got some, he's making some good points.
Or if there was a conclusion that was reached, and maintains that she still sort of believes in a conspiracy.
Yeah, coming from somebody who actually does like Candace, I watch Candace content from time to time. Big fan of Candace. I do think it was a big old letdown. I think we need to stop setting such high expectations on, all this buildup. You're teasing us something big. Candace has been talking, crazy since Charlie Kirk's death. Whatever the conspiracy may be, I think a lot of it was entertaining. A lot of us had, I knew, come on, it's like real life. You don't really have beef or problem with the.
And so, like, whose fault is that? Like, this, it was entertainment. Okay, it was absolutely partly entertainment. There's no doubt about it. Because if you really think about it, and the things that she was saying, where's the proof? If she has, you can't go around saying these things, okay, to somebody who is well known, like Charlie Kirk was well known, and his organization, and also the political ties that he has with President Trump, who's a Zionist, and it's awkward. Like, and I don't watch Candace's shows. I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens, okay? And he said that she opened up her show dancing to Jewish music and saying Shabbat Shalom, something like, I don't know what that means. I know Shalom means hello or peace or something. So right there, something's up. Right there, something's up. Last night, President Trump, on his Hanukkah celebration in the White House, where he invited somebody the likes of Randy Fine that I went over this morning on my Facebook Live, who's a goon, but won't invite Thomas Massey to a luncheon that was held in the White House this past summer because of what? Thomas Massey has never made comments like Randy Fine has. And so I don't understand why Thomas Massey has been put on the side. I think it's because he doesn't take APAC money. That's what it is. So Candace Owens comes out doing this Shabbat Shalom with Jewish music. And President Trump said last night that I didn't watch because I'm not interested. But I saw a little tape of it where he said that the Jewish lobby was not as powerful as it once was, which is bull. Then he turned around and said that his father told him that the Jewish lobby was the most powerful lobby. President Trump talks with two sides of his mouth. He says they're not, and then he says that they are. Then he says, you need to be careful. And I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Is he referring to what Candace Owens, like what happened to Candace Owens? Does he know what happened with Candace Owens? Was he privy to this meeting? Was he involved in this? That's what I'd like to know. I don't know. Sometimes I think President Trump doesn't let on with a lot of things. Sometimes he plays stupid. I mean, a banana. So he gives me that impression, President Trump, that is. And saying you got to be careful, I'm not sure what that means. Is that a threat? What does that mean? We have the First Amendment right of free speech in this country. I don't care what lobbyists are in DC, especially AIPAC. I don't care if you're a Zionist, President Trump, because you are, and so is your administration. I don't care if you're friends with a multi-billionaire who makes money in Vegas from people losing. Mostly they lose their money. A lot of them don't win. So they're making money off of people that are gambling with maybe money they don't even have because they're hoping to strike it rich. How about people just not do this? How about you stop gambling and stop giving your money to these people? That would be a good start. But because people are so hung up on money and that they need it, they think a quick way to get it is to go to Vegas and gamble it. And a lot of people do. Even people that have money do it. I think they do it just for the thrill of it. But it's addictive. A lot of people are addicted to gambling because that's what Miriam Adelson, that's how she made her money. She has a casino out in Vegas. So that's how they made their money. And President Trump said last night that she has given him $250 million for his campaign. 100 for sure last year and maybe 150 beforehand. I'm not sure. He wasn't specific. She comes on to speak. Like I said, I did not watch it. This was a video. She can't even speak English. This woman cannot speak English. She has dual citizenship with Israel. Her foremost project, or she's giving money to a Zionist, period. They are AIPAC, Miriam Adelson, and all of them that were there last night. They're buying people out to do Israel's bidding. Netanyahu is going to meet once again with President Trump in a couple of weeks in Florida. This guy, that is the war criminal Netanyahu, goes here, there, and everywhere. It's going to catch up to him too. Just like what happened with Candace Owens and all her accusations on Erica Kirk or TPUSA. Now, I don't know if she's right or wrong with her accusations, but if you're going to continuously do this, you need to have proof. That's my opinion of it. But people were just hanging on a thread on what Candace Owens had to say about this. Why they believed her, I don't know. But in the end, Nick Fuentes says that she's in trouble. I think she is. I mean, her own followers are already kind of like going at her. But let's see. Let me see. Usually that's what happens, but let's see.
A lot of the conspiracies, Charlie Kirk's wife was hearing it for the first time, learning it through Candace Owens' streams. And if you read the comment section, a lot of the super chats in there, a lot of people were turning on Candace. A lot of people were just felt let down. And I think we just,
Yeah.
like I said before, we just gotta stop getting these
Because she's not
expectations
telling the
high up.
truth.
I knew that this was.
The defamation law works in the United States is very interesting. If you defame or libel an ordinary person, a private citizen, there's a very low bar to prove that you've defamed somebody. So let's say if I talk about my neighbor who is not on Twitter, who's not on Facebook, who's not a famous person, if I take my neighbor who's a private person that just has a job and is unknown, and I start saying, this person's a murderer, this person's a rapist, this person's terrible, all they have to prove is that I was reckless. All they have to prove is that what I'm telling the world about that person is not true.
Okay, dude, I agree with Nick. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I agree with.
That's defamation. That's right. That's what it is.
Right. Okay. Like I said, look, I'm the rare case that I like both people. I do.
Is very interesting. If you defame or libel an ordinary person, a private citizen, there's a very low bar. There's a very low bar to prove that you've defamed. There's a very low bar to prove that you've.
How come it's not going over here?
Citizen. There's a very low bar to prove that you've defamed somebody. So let's say if I talk about my neighbor who is not on Twitter, who's not on talk about my neighbor who is not on Twitter, who's not on Facebook, who's not a famous person. If I take my neighbor who's a private person that just has a job and is unknown, and I start saying, this person's a murderer, this person's a rapist, this person's terrible, all they have to prove is that I was reckless. All they have to prove is that what I'm telling the world about that person is not true.
Okay, dude, I agree with Nick. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
What happened? You know what I think happened? I think this is why Turning Point called the meeting in the first place. Because a lot of people that defend Turning Point were saying they're making a mistake hosting the meeting. They're saying no matter what they say, Candace will continue fanning the flames of the conspiracy. People said, so why did Erica agree to the meeting? Here's what I think happened, based on my intimate knowledge of how these things work. The way the defamation law works in the United States is very interesting. If you defame or libel an ordinary person.
I agree with Nick. I'm sorry. I was hyped it up about what happened during this case for Candace. I think fan of Candace Owens.
So the other video that I watched was better. And I can't find it, but maybe I can find it later on. But I thought I was going to be able to find it. It was going to be pretty easy, but it wasn't, because it's not a channel that I've ever heard before. But Nick Fuentes basically says that he believes that he knows what happened, and that is that they threatened Candace Owens with a defamation lawsuit. Because lawyers were present for TPUSA, and I don't know if Candace Owens had lawyers or what. Maybe at some point I will go look at her channel to see what happened. I guess it was yesterday where people say she was acting strange, and they probably did threaten her. And it's odd too that the timing of President Trump and what he said is that you need to be careful. I think he was alluding to Candace Owens. So, and how he knew that, I don't know, because it was a secret meeting. So, and let me tell you, with President Trump, it's got to do with Israel. That's what it is. That's what I think it is. Everything he says, every move he makes, practically, I would say practically, it's got to do with Israel. And even somebody else, another YouTuber, came out today and said, is President Trump the most Zionist president in US history? Is he? He could be. He could be. And I just saw a little post where let me see, I need to read it. Let me go to my photos and I'm going to read. Where did it go? Oh, maybe it's my notes. Notes. Yes, this is what it says. After taking $300 billion from America, now Israel is demanding at least 80 billion more over 20 years. They say we owe them and cannot question this MOU. Let me see, I forget what MOU stood for. Something of understanding. I forget what M is. We must hand over our wallets. Otherwise, we'll be called anti-Semites and our lives will be ruined. I say, hell no. So on the other lives that I've done, I've talked about how the 10-year deal that we have with Israel concerning every year we have to give them so much money. 10 years, we have given them about, I would say 3.8 billion. Let's just say 4. He says 300, he rounded it up. I say it's more than that. And now, like I said before, Israel now wants 20 years, a 20-year deal with the US, meaning that the taxpayer now is going to have to work for Israel once again, like we have been doing for a while now. And now they want a 20-year deal. Let me see if I can find this. Actually, this is on YouTube. I didn't know that. Let me see if I can find this on YouTube. Excerpt specialist. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is right here. So this is what I just read. And this is what he had to say. I don't know, whatever it is. The 10-year-long Memorandum of Understanding, that's MOU. This is what Israel and the US signed. MOU signed in 2016. So next year it's up. So it's done. To give Israel $3.8 billion a year is set to expire in 2028. Now they're asking for a 20-year-long Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. This doesn't include the additional billions of dollars they've received since October 2023 and other countless billions of dollars we spent fighting their wars for them. Any hope and or faith in Trump for saying no to this? No. At this point in time, no. Because President Trump is a very big Zionist. And President Trump is going to give Netanyahu what he wants. And that is $80 billion more over 20 years. Now, what is that? 80 divided by, what is that, 4 billion a year? Instead of 3.8, it's 4 billion over the course of 20 years. Not 10, but now it's going to be doubled, right? So 80 divided by 20 is 4. Yep. So Israel wants next year, starting next year when this is done, and I don't know what month that is. I don't know if it's at the end of the year, in December, because next year we have to give them 3.8 billion again on top of what we already gave them just a little while ago of $600 to $800 million extra to go fund their wars. That's our money. That's our tax dollar money going to a foreign government that does absolutely nothing for this country except get us in trouble. That's it. That's all they do. They are just useless. These people are useless. To this country, they're useless. The money that they make all has to go to Israel. The money that we make all has to go to Israel. And that is on the state level and that is on the local level as well. Somehow or another, this has got to stop. And people are trying to figure out how to stop this. Are they the candidates? The candidates that are coming up in the future, are they looking at this and saying, we need to not support Israel anymore? Because these are the people that we have to push. And Thomas Massey is one of them who has never taken AIPAC money for the past 10 years or so. He's been in Congress. He's never taken it. So I think we should push Thomas Massey in the forefront to get him to run for president, because these other people that are out there are not going to change a thing. Nothing. Thomas Massey is a lone wolf in DC because everybody else is bought and paid for. And I showed you AIPAC and how much money these people take from pro-Israeli lobby groups. They're all bought and paid for, just like President Trump. Same thing. Even though President Trump says he's America first. No, you're not acting like it, President Trump. Sorry. No. If you're America first, stop sending money to Israel, because we need it here. We're $38 trillion in debt. Stop sending money to Israel. Do not give them more money next year, a 20-year deal of $80 billion. That's $4 billion a year, $2 million more. Is it 2 million? No, 2 billion. 2 billion. Let's just say 2 billion. 2 billion more, which, where is it? 8 point, whatever. Anyway, an extra 2 million billion, whatever it is. And so its total is 4 billion instead of 3.8 billion. So another 2 billion, I'd say. That makes it 4 billion. So we got to give them another extra $2 billion that we don't have, that we could use in this country. If that happens, I mean, what's going to happen to us? Does President Trump care at all about all the money that the taxpayers have sent to Israel? Never mind what Miriam Allison has done. She's done peanuts compared to how much money we have sent. That is the American taxpayer to Israel. She hasn't done anything. What has she done in terms of money, except giving to President Trump? We voted for him. We voted, the taxpayer did, right? The taxpayer voted for President Trump. And our money is going abroad, and to the Ukraine too. Not only did they give money a couple of weeks ago to Israel, but they also gave it to the Ukraine. I thought President Trump didn't want to have any more wars in the Ukraine. I don't understand any of this, and I think people are sick and tired of it. Just like with Candace Owens and what she had, you have to, people that are listening to this podcaster like Candace Owens, she has all these views. If you really listen to what she's saying, how can you not have any questions about what she's saying and wonder where she's coming from? And does she have any evidence? And that she's just talking off the top of her head. Let me tell you, Nick Fuentes had a lot to say about Candace Owens. And people, for the most part, did not like it. But the way she came out today, I believe today or yesterday, when she came out after this meeting, it looks like she's changed. She has to now change her tune, and she's trying to do a balancing act of how she was before and now how she has to be in the future. So now she has to be careful what she has to say, or else she's going to get in trouble. So people, in other words, believed what she said about the conspiracy theories about TPUSA and Erica Kirk. Now she can't say it anymore because she's been threatened. I believe Nick Fuentes. I think she has been threatened with lawsuits. And President Trump said last night, you got to be careful, because she was accusing Israel of being a part of it. And you know what? They could have been. And so they're shutting her up. This is what they do. This is what these people do. This is what these Zionists do. That's what they do. That's what they do. But, for Candace Owens, now she has to change her tune, and her followers don't like it. And Nick Fuentes said that she has taken the movement back 5 years, what she did. and what she said. So if people if people that were watching her were hung up on every word that she was talking about with Charlie Kirk, she's going to lose now followers because they're not going to trust her anymore. When you're threatened with a lawsuit probably because of what country I'm talking about. And I don't know how President Trump knew about this. I think he had something to do with it. Like I said, he knows more than he lets on. That's my opinion. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. And wow, I'm telling you, these, false flags, what is going on in the Middle East concerning how much of our money is going to Israel and why it doesn't stay here. Who are our politicians working for? People are really starting to ask questions, and that's good. And that's a good thing. We have to call them out. And it needs to continue no matter how many people are watching or not watching it. It doesn't matter. To bring it out there, say what you got to say, show what you've got, okay? Show what you've got. And for me, Israel is a big, big part of this. And I, for one, am sick and tired of these wars that we are funding in the Middle East, sick of a so-called ally that does absolutely nothing for this country but take. They're just a bunch of serpents. I have to find that video where President Trump was talking about that snake story. If you remember that, I got to find that because I find this very appropriate. For me, at least, it's very appropriate right now. So anyway, all right. You guys have a good night. And I'll do a live tomorrow morning, like 9 or 10. I usually go on my Facebook Live, which is Annalisa Gentile 2 with a Roman numeral 2. Okay, you guys have a good night. Bye-bye.